What's going on, guys? It's the Hunter Project here. Welcome to my channel where you'll find Monster Hunter news, builds, playthroughs and everything in between. Today I'll be going over my top 5 monsters in Monster Hunter Rise, and of course this will be a personal list to me, so definitely let me know down below what your top 5 monsters are in order, as well as reasons as to why they're given in that ranked order, and I look forward to reading all your comments. Quick note before starting this though, is that this video will of course be filled with spoilers, so if you haven't finished Rise for whatever reason by now, and you're trying to avoid spoilers, this is your chance to click off. Starting off with the first monster on this list, we have the one and only Elder Dragon on the list, Nawa. So this is, as we all know, the final boss of the game, and it's a yellow queen Elder Dragon that is quite similar to a Matsu in terms of how it looks, with its long and leviathan-like body and short hind legs accompanied by a long tail. I really like the design. I love the colour choice they went for as well, the like golden yellowish colour design, and I like how fluid the animations are when it's traversing the map or attacking the player, and I am excited to fight this again in version 3.0 considering we didn't actually slay it, so I am guessing we're going to be given another variant that's going to be hopefully a buffed version of it, and I'm sure it will be an interesting encounter. I really do hope that they do remove siege weapons from the second fight, as personally I do think they made it too easy, with specifically the cannons that just did an insane amount of damage. So I hope they do leave siege weapons out of the second encounter, just to make it that bit more challenging. Of course it is still high rank, so I'm not expecting like G rank level of difficulty, but I hope they do buff the difficulty a tiny bit. And if you are wondering why I chose Nawa over Ibushi, the sole reason was Ibushi, even though I do kind of prefer the aesthetic of the moves more, like the red energy to the attacks, it is a rampage monster, so I do feel very detached from it. I don't really go hunting it because I can't be asked with going through I think 6 of the monsters, if from the top of my head. As you can see, I haven't done the rampage too many times, so I don't remember how many monsters you actually have to go through or how many rounds you have to go through to get to Ibushi, but just because it's not a standalone fight, it kind of just retracted from me liking the monster just in general. And yeah, so moving on to our number 4 spot, we have Gosarag, and from the get-go with the marketing, this was one of the monsters that stood out to me straight away, as it wasn't an Elder Dragon, and of course it isn't the flagship, so it was extremely nice to see a really well designed non-Elder to be like, and for it to be shown off as much as it did. It was really like, it was quite refreshing to see a new monster that was pulled off extremely well. I love how they merged a bear with the Namahage for the various features that this monster consists of. I love the colour scheme. I love how it changes when enraged, and it goes from its bluish colour to the red, that really deep red colour. And I love the moves as well. The moveset's extremely good. Like, I love the horizontal beam it does, that's followed by a vertical to try to catch people off, and then specifically when it turns its arms into blades of ice. I absolutely adore that move. And when it starts savagely just swinging left and right trying to hit whoever's in front of it. I think it's just a very well done monster, and easily one of my top 10 monsters of Generation 5, I would say. I don't know where I would rank it in terms of the entire franchise. I'd probably have to give it more of a think to make that decision. But on a side note, related to what I just said, if you do want me to make a video on my top 10 monsters of Generation 5, definitely let me know down below. So now we move on to our top 3, and starting off our top 3 we have Mazutsune. First introduced in Generations of course, as one of the 4 flagships of the Fated 4. Mazutsune is a leviathan, donning a long slender body and dark purple fur, covering its chest, underbelly, legs and tail, and then it has the rest of the body is coloured a nice light pinkish colour, which I think really complements the monster's design overall. And like the rest of the Fated 4, I think the design for this beast is extremely cool and well thought out, and I think the moveset as well is a really fun one to deal with. I love how it's not a slow monster. I love how it's relatively big, and yet it's extremely wild and sporadic with its movements. It can jump around very quickly, and I think the moves really complement its agility and like how versatile it is. And I think that even though it's so active with its movements, there's still lots of opportunities for the player to be able to deal like major damage as long as you're hitting the right spots, with obviously the obvious spot being the head of course. But I think overall extremely fun monster to fight, really good soundtrack, and just overall I'm really glad that it made its way into Rise, and hopefully we see the same for the rest of the Fated 4. Coming in at the second place on the list, we have one of my favourite monsters of all time in the Monster Hunter franchise, Tigrix. Since I first played Freedom Unite, this monster has always stuck out to me as like the personification of ruthless aggression, and I just loved it for that. One of my favourite moves that make this evident being the running attack, where it charges the hunter at a high speed, only to do a quick U-turn and then charges the hunter again until they've been knocked over, and I think it does this up to 3 times if you keep dodging it. And I think it's just a really cool move overall. Like, it just really shows how much aggression the monster has, and that kind of brings in that scary factor. In addition, I think it has one of the best, if not the best, roars in the series, with it being able to deal damage to the player if you're too close. And the fact that it's a small monster being able to blow you away with a roar, I just always thought that was extremely cool. And the pure reliance on brute strength and an ear splitting roar has just always stuck with me, and that's why it's at the number 2 spot. Finally, we have Magnum Arlo taking the number 1 spot, and I was actually going to put Tigrix as joint first, but Magnum Arlo will of course be taking the number 1 spot, as you can see, as it is a Monster Hunter Rise list after all, and I thought Tigrix has had its time to shine for many years now, with it having been the flagship of Freedom 2. Magnum Arlo is probably my favourite addition to the roster from Rise, and I think it's a fantastic flagship. I think they did a great job with its design and moveset. I do know a lot of people who say, well, I wouldn't say a lot of people, I've seen people here and there say that its design is a bit far-fetched and a bit over the top. Personally, I disagree. Like, I think the design is really well thought out, and the moveset is very aesthetically pleasing as well as practical. I think the fight itself was very engaging, especially with how fast and agile Magnum Arlo is, but yet he does have some attacks that kind of slow him down, when especially the more powerful attacks, and I think it's a very good mix of fast and slow in the battle. I love the moveset once again. I think that one of my favourite attacks being the tail blast, where it like whips its tail and then it sends out like a circular sonic boom, and then as well as its usage of its hellfire, I think was really well done, especially the move where it shoots itself like a rocket similar to Valstrax. I thought that was really cool and terrifying, especially when it's fully fired up and it can one-shot you. Well, at least it can one-shot you if you have a relatively low defense. I thought that was extremely cool. And yeah guys, Magnum Arlo is taking the number 1 spot. This does bring us to the end of my list, guys. If I missed any of your favourite monsters, this is your time now to drop a comment down below with what your top 5 monsters are, and I look forward to reading all of your comments. And if you did enjoy the video, guys, be sure to smash the like, subscribe buttons. It's extremely appreciated as we make our way to 1,000 subscribers. And I just want to thank you all so much for the support recently. It's been insane. And don't forget to join our Discord. Link is at the top of the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.